We're going to continue this week with fall decor using this cute little vintage suitcase. Hi, I'm Myra with Boutique Paint. Christmas items, holiday items are on their way from Iron Orchid. My shipment will be here tomorrow for the fall release to 2023. I know what year it is. In the meantime, I need to get ready for my fall show. So I found this cute little vintage suitcase at an antique store. And what I did is I just took some rubbing alcohol and cleaned it up. There was a couple just kind of yucky spots, so I got those cleaned up. The reason why I use rubbing alcohol is because it helps kind of as a degreaser also to help clean things up. You could use Dawn dishwashing liquid also, but you just want to make sure you get all the oils off of the suitcase. I am going to be using this beautiful transfer and using some of the sunflowers from it. I'm going to put these up in the corners like so, and then I'm going to do a pumpkin right here. And we're going to be using our new pumpkin that we just got this week in our new pumpkin stencil, which is called Veined Pumpkin. But sunflowers also so nice in the fall. That's what we think of. That's what I think of in the fall. Pumpkins, sunflowers, football. If you're not into football, I get it, but
so I found the strength to say.
so you can see I'm folding this in right there and going over the edge. And it might break. See how it's broken off? That's okay. Just adds a little bit more character to the bag. And you can see how it's lifting up as I go along. This side's actually connecting pretty quickly. Once again, I want to get in there and fold this over and try to get that onto rolling over the edge of the suitcase. And you can see it just snap up. That's it releasing from the transfer paper, or transfer plastic in this case. There we go, very pretty. So this is our new Veined Pumpkin stencil. It's in 10 mil, so it's thicker, so you can do raised stencils on with it. And I went ahead and put the stencil glue on it and let it dry. I don't think it's going to roll around this corner really nicely and stay, but I'm going to use some Summer Crush with a little bit of salt wash to thicken it up to put on this, because I do want a little bit of a raised texture. And I'm not going to mix up, well, I'm going to need to mix up a little bit more than that. I did a little batch for the stem already. I was thinking that's how much we'd need, but this is a pretty good size stencil. So you just mix it until you get the consistency you want. I usually say like frosting, a thicker frosting or peanut butter. I think I've got it where I want it as far as thickness. So I'm going to take a trowel, and this is one of IOD's silicone paint blades. And I'm just gonna kind of glop it on here. You could also just glop it onto the blade. And I'm going to take this and I'm just going to go along and spread it. Oops, didn't mean to get it on my stem though. That's okay. I think I'll grab the wider trowel paint blade because the stencil is so big. It'll cover more territory. And because this stencil is a 10 millimeter, it's thick enough to leave some of the paint with the salt wash behind. So it's going to be a little bit on the raised side. Let's see, hopefully this will work around this edge a little bit. There we go. Now there might be some lines in this that, you know, give it some texture. If you don't like that, you can take a sanding pad to it once it is dry and smooth it out. And I'll grab the green, which I already mixed up, and I'm just gonna take my stick here and lay it down on here. Now you could literally leave it like that and not smooth it down and lift it. And, you know, if you want some really fun texture. Let's see, I'm going to clean this off so I can try to get in there and get some of it lifted off. So I don't think I want quite that much. That looks good. Okay. And I can put the rest of this back in here. So if you're doing a couple projects, this would be a good one to, you know, mix up a batch and then do the salt wash so that you're not wasting. And now we're going to lift this straight up. And there we go. And you can see right here where I turn the corner that it is thicker. Now, like I said, when I'm done, I could sand that down a little bit because I have a little bit of concern about it being right here on the edge and maybe getting knocked a little bit. So I used a dryer, a blow dryer, to speed up the process, and I'm kind of loving what's happening here. It's got some natural cracking going on. Hopefully you can see that. It's still not dry completely. I did do it on like a medium heat because I did not want to heat up the transfer. I was afraid that with the heat before it sealed, it might want it to pull up a little bit. So I did it on a cooler setting and just kind of dried it up a little bit. I would really like to put a butterfly somewhere on here, and I was looking at this one. This has got some nice coloring for fall on it. It's kind of the right positioning too. This one's very pretty also. So but I think I'm going to do this one here. So I was thinking he could go right there over that little scratch mark. That is so pretty on there. I love that little guy. So I don't know if I need something here. I could do some of the lavender from this stencil on a little bit here. I'm going to tip it and kind of look at it. I could do just some leaves here. That might be kind of cool. Like they've dropped off. So I'm going to try a little experiment here, and I'm going to take a paintbrush and some decrepit dust, and I'm not going to wax this because what I really want to do is I want to put, once this is completely dry, I'm going to put a top coat on it, and I will be using Big Top probably on the top of this by DIY. But what I'd like to do is see if some of the decrepit dust wouldn't go nicely into some of these cracks. And since this is just a smidge still on the wet side and just stay, and I don't know if I want to put it everywhere, but I'm just gonna add this. And it looks like it will. And the reason why I'm not going to wax this, I want to use a top coat, is just to help with the sturdiness of this. I'm not going to be using this case for anything but display. If I wanted to use it, say, for my to go crafting, I might or might not do the raised stencil. I might just do paint. I will let you know in a week or two how this is faring as far as, you know, moving around and stuff like that. I'll give it a little bit of a rough test. But yeah, if you're gonna like travel with it, or if you're going to use it for crafting, putting your supplies or whatever in, you may want to just use paint. That's a little darker than I want there. So I'm going to just take a paper towel and wipe that back a smidge. Now, because I didn't wax it first, it's a little bit harder to, you know, wipe it back, as we are always saying, you know, you wax it and then you put your dark over the top, and that way if you get too much you can pull it back. I'm not minding this. I was able to pull back a little bit, but I kind of like adding a little bit of the dimension as far as a little bit of light and dark. So I might play with this a little bit more, but like I said, when this is dry, I will clear coat it, and then it'll be done. And that is the project for this week. Oh, I like the darker on the stem. This is a big enough project that it's kind of hard to know if I'm in the view of the camera lens. But I definitely like darkening that up. That's turning out pretty. I might just do the whole thing there. But that's our project for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions about any of the products I used, you can go to our website at www.boutiquepaint.com, and this and one other stencil is online, and it's a I designed it for holiday, but it can also be year-round. But I thought it would be fun to do for Christmas, a Christmas decor, and we will be doing some projects with it coming up. But like I said, when this is dry, I will clear coat it, and then it'll be done. Oh, I like the darker on the stem. This is a big enough project that it's kind of hard to know if I'm in the view of the camera lens. But I definitely like darkening that up. That's turning out pretty. I might just do the whole thing there. But that's our project for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions about any of the products I used, you can go to our website at www.boutiquepaint.com,